Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Showtime Stash, and on this channel, we normally look at, some great chess. May not be played by the greatest player, but, brilliant moves, but no, not today. Today we are going to be looking at, some of my games that I'm not too proud of, but, they're just straight comedy, so I had to show you guys anyways. In this game, we're going to see blunders. It's going to look like you're seeing, two guys that don't know how to pieces moves play some chess, but yeah, it'll be me and my opponent. So without further ado, we got two games to show you. The first one here, I play against Eduardo fan from Indonesia. Great country here, and you can already see the accuracy, 63 and 51. Like I said, this is more at home in a how to lose a chess video from Gotham Chess, but instead today is me showing my own game. So it does not take long for a blunder. Both of these games are in the Ruy Lopez, as most of my games are. So we go ahead, and the bird's defense, not the best way to play against Ruy Lopez. You're not going to see it at the highest levels, but it's known to give some people some trouble. I do have a little bit of theory I know here. You capture the knight, and then d3. And normally, I would play around this pawn, trade it on the c file, and have a strong center. But I try to be unique. And if you know anything about chess, if you're not over 2,500, just don't be unique. Just do what's known. Right away, my opponent plays queen e7, and you don't have to have an engine on it. That's a mistake. You're blocking your dark square bishop. You're lining up your king and rook on this, or your king and queen on the same file. That's just not a great move, but perhaps he has some preparation. I don't know. I play the best move here, which is the castle. My opponent, knight f6. It's a fine move, developing the knight. Now I go b3. B3, the computer also does not like. However, I have plans of developing my dark square bishop on b2 and targeting this pawn. I believe the computer wants me to play c3 here and get the strong center, which is what you're supposed to do according to the book, but like I said, I try and be a little inventive, and also it's a bad move because I'm incidentally trapping in my own bishop. So, a double-edged sword there. We get b5, and then I don't have much else to do. I go d5, attacking his rook here, and then we get c6. So it does look like my bishop's trapped. However, I do have a sneaky move here, which is rook e1. So obviously, if he takes the bishop here in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to recapture with my pawn, and then he's going to lose his queen. So he doesn't want to do that. He slides his queen to d6, which is a blunder. The best move there was to just slide the queen back. The reason this is a blunder, sorry, I'm zoned out there. The reason this is a blunder is because of e5. It allows for an easy pawn forward, which I do not spot right away. Instead, I continued my plan of developing the bishop. I didn't want to get too caught up in losing development, so he captures the pawn and or captures the bishop, and that fork is still there. Now, the problem with this fork, it might just look like, okay, he loses a piece. He loses a piece with check, and now my other pieces are flying. I go queen e2. Computer doesn't like that. Once again, we're seeing the blunder fest. Let's see what the computer has for me. I actually didn't analyze this part. He's just going to capture the pawn back and all is well. He is not worried about queen e8 check, which I thought would be pretty strong, but it looks like he just runs his king out, and he's okay. But that does not happen in the game. Instead, he decides to recapture the pawn. I'm not sure why he would do this. He doubles up his own pawns. Two, double isolated pawns here, triple isolated pawns here. So this pawn structure is a complete mess this game. But I go in at queen e8. Once again, Peter, not the hugest fan, but very natural move. I have my king, and this was the idea of piling my queen and rook on top of each other. So that's what we do. We go knight d2. Once again, just trying to get some more pieces into the attack here. Opponent plays bishop b7, which develops a piece and attacks the queen. I go ahead and snag up the f7 pawn here. And now bishop e4, and now, ladies and gentlemen, rook e7. So I'm giving up the knight, also allowing him to trade, which was not the best play here, but he decides to capture the knight, and now I have this beautiful battery, and you're like, all right, game's over. Where's the fun here? King goes to b8, and the fun just starts, ladies and gentlemen. Queen captures f6. There is no greater motive behind this. I just missed that there's a straight line between the two queens, and it took me 20 seconds to play this move. 20 seconds to hang a queen in one move. Not my best chess. I will admit that. My opponent, bright eye, 1739 rated player, he spots it, and now bishop takes d4. At this point, I'm like, okay, game's over. I was ready to resign in this position, but it doesn't take long for my opponent to give the game right back. All he has to do is capture this queen, and I would have resigned. However, he hangs his queen as well. What is he doing? He did back to back. This is a 1700 rated game, and we just had back to back queen hangs. And now I'm like, okay, you know what? This is not too bad. This isn't too bad. And then my opponent Bishop c8, what is he doing? The king is trapped along his file. He has no moves. And ladies and gentlemen, bishop e5 checkmate. What a game. I mean, you can see the computer here. I might throw this up on the screen. It says my opponent and I should have been rated a 1300 and a 950. This was a 1700 rated game. Let's take a quick little let's go back here. So first off, I hang my the knight wasn't the problem. That was a bad idea for him to capture the knight, but I hang the rook here, lose an exchange. I was not the best play here. And then I hang the queen, and then 2 moves later, he hangs his queen. I mean, what else can I say, man? This is 1700. This is, you know, if you're like an 1,000 saying, well, I play better chess than that, you do. You probably do. I'm not gonna lie, this was a terrible game, but that's why we're showing it here today, and that is just tip of the iceberg. We now have a game that's not gonna have the same level of blunders, but it is still a poorly played game that you know, you gotta persevere. That is the idea of this game. I lost my queen. I could have resigned, and I would have lost 8 elo, but instead I persevered. My opponent hung his queen, and then young checkmate and won. Listen, I don't care what level. If you're at a level higher than me, maybe you don't have to listen, but I'm assuming most of you guys are gonna be rated in the like 1,000, 1,200, maybe even 1,500. If they're doing it at this level, they'll do it at your level. I promise you. So just do not resign. That is the story of the day. And we're going to go ahead and get into game 2. Another opponent rated 1721 from India. And now, as I prefaced earlier, we have the Ruy Lopez. The Ruy Lopez is on the board, my favorite opening. And now we get d6, so the old Stein's defense. Once again, I go c3. Opponent goes a6, as the modern Stein's defense. Bishop a4. You know, he goes for a somewhat like cant variation style, and he goes b5, which is completely fine. I drop back to bishop c2. You know, a lot of people like to go bishop e3 here to eye this light square, but 99% of the time your opponent's going to castle kingside, so I just go ahead and prepare, you know, a lineup on this h7 pawn. And also it does a great job of defending this e4 pawn while it is there. Now we have d4. Now I have 2 pawns in the center. Like, if you're a beginner, this is exactly what you want. I have my knight developed, I have a bishop developed, and I have 2 pawns in the center of the board. You can't ask for much better than that. Bishop e7, my opponent goes for a fianchetto along the queen side. a3, the reason behind a3 is I'm preventing knight b4. That is a move that I do not like to, it's very annoying because you're kind of forced to trade your light square bishop, or at least he kicks it off the nice square that I have it on, so just to prevent him to move. My opponent plays b4. I did not want to take right away because I was, it would also, you know, he just recaptured the knight. So instead, I just go ahead and castle. I'm not too concerned with him capturing because I'll just recapture with my pawn. And all will be well, and I'll still control that all-important b4 square. We have bishop e7, so he's preparing to castle. Right here, b3 is a bit of a mistake, and you can kind of see right away why it's a mistake. I kind of hurt my own pawn structure. The idea behind this is that I want to fianchetto my bishop and get these 2 strong bishops along this, you know, staring down this king. But was a little preemptive because it gives up that, it gives up the square. He castles, and I play queen d2, so I'm threatening to win the pawn. I'm kind of forcing him to capture, which he decides to do. And then I decide to recapture with my knight. I think the computer wanted me to capture with my rook here. No, okay, it wanted me to push the... Okay, that's... like I said, computer comes with all these smart things here. It says, don't worry about this pawn right here. Just go kick away his knight. His knight currently has, like, no really good square. He's going to have to retreat, so that would have been the best play. Instead, I recapture with the knight, looking to get the knight on this strong c4 square and, you know, place my bishop where I want it to go. My opponent immediately takes that c4 square away from me, so now I have a knight that looks stupid on the side of the board. I play e5, so we're getting this strong attack, and knight e4 here, queen d3. And you might be like, all right, guys, when's the blunder gonna happen? Just be patient. Be patient. I mean, right now we're playing smart chess. You don't always got to be dumb right away. Okay, sometimes you can pretend to be smart, and you can see once again this is already a bit of a mistake. The computer says it's a mistake. I wanted to line this up so that if the knight moves, it's checkmate. Very basic idea, but the problem with that, and now he gets to win another tempo. He started to get his pieces into my square, and now I'm going to lose my strong, you know, light square bishop. I have a lot of pawns on dark squares, so this kind of sucks, but what else am I going to do? He decides to capture. I recapture my knight, now getting into the game, because once again, these 2 forward moves are blocked off by pawns, so, you know, I'm able to get my knight back into the game here. He plays c5, and then rook d1. I mean, if you guys, you should be able to see why this is a mistake pretty clearly. I think I played this move. Let's see. It took me 20 seconds. Once again, I'm just not thinking smart. You know, that was not the best move. I mean, the idea was just to protect this pawn. But knight c3, and now once again, this is a position. You know, I moved the queen over and he captures, and now I'm down in exchange like I'm demoralized. I'm down on the clock. But you have to persevere. It is not about the first blunder. It's about the second and the third. So just make sure you don't make those plays. He captures the pawn. I capture back with the queen. He wanted me to recapture with probably this c2 knight to get a little more activated. But I thought this was a nice square for my queen. Nice and centralized. Rook c8. So trying to attack this loose knight. And I give it up, oops, gave up a knight. So the idea, I wanted to capture and then push this pawn, checkmate, because I'm already down. When you're down material, you got to go for the attack. My opponent decides to instead try and put in like an in-between move, but it does not work. This is, now it blocks the attack from the knight, so I can just slide my queen out the way. And now I also have the defend of the knight, so you can't play bishop captures because the knight is now defended. So the idea quite didn't work for my opponent. And so now he has bishop b6 or queen b6, so he's lining up his battery attack. So now I would like to try and find a way to defend this, but instead we play b4, kick the bishop away. You can't really capture. Now you can capture through a sequence of moves. This is something I did not see. My opponent didn't see it either. But the best continuation was play bishop captures, sacrifice the bishop, queen captures. I'll trade the queens. King captures, and now this comes with check, and I'm in a load of trouble. This is not good. This is a losing position. So the idea is that he can capture that pawn, and I just have to slide my king out the way. He doesn't do that though. Brings the bishop back. Now we're starting to get a little counterplay here. Bishop d4, so attacking the queen. I'm also getting that once again. This bishop is perfectly placed in the center of the board. The queen is forced to move. We get knight e3, just bringing my piece in attack. I know I'm down material, so I cannot just trade. I can't play for an endgame. We have to go on the attack now, so we're bringing the pieces in. Rook f d8. Now it's a good move according to the computer, but just you can see that I'm lining my pieces up for a strong attack. You really don't want to remove your defenders. So this pawn is now very loose, and he's gonna have some trouble when this game comes later. We play b5 here. Now this is a pawn sacrifice, but there is an idea behind it. I didn't just it was get this rook into a7 and put pressure on this bishop. Now you can't just immediately go rook a8 because I can capture and there's no back right mate because my knight is protecting the f1 square to block. So my opponent is not able to do that, and so he has to start with queen c6. Now look at this king. This king has nothing around him. He has a single bishop as his lone defender, and I have 4 pieces coming in for an attack. So you can see already this is starting to get a little scary. And once again, I just immediately push e6, and I'm trying to go for this attack. And let's see, I think, oops, nope, you don't want to see that. All right, we're here. Once again, I'll push right in for the attack, and he doesn't want to capture the queen because it will he'll lose the bishop, so he has to capture back with the pawn. And now I'm able to just throw pieces at him. Knight e5. This queen is now hit. Queen's got to move somewhere. Queen drops back, and you can just see. Now we play h3 here. I was looking at pawn storm, but that's just a little slow. So I shift gears after that h3 move. He is able to play rook a8, so we can trade off the rooks, but I'm down material. Right now I'm down 4 points of material. I have no time to trade rooks and let him and start playing defense. I have to go on the attack. Knight e to g4, so completely sacrificing the rook to gain a tempo. I could capture and he captures and then play this move, but then I lose a tempo. And everything's got to be quick. It's got to be fast. Rook takes a7, best move here. And now right here, sacrificing another knight. Listen, I'm down 9 points of material. I got to throw everything I have at this king. As you see, this king has nothing defending him. So he recaptures. Now we have right now the computer evaluation is -10, but he has 0 pieces defending his king, and I have 3 pieces attacking it. So this is very tricky to play. In fact, I mean, if you want to find a defensive move here, there are a couple that work. There's basically 2. Go ahead and pause the video here and try and find the defensive move my opponent did not find. So if you guys come back from that break, you had to get this rook along this 6th rank. One of these 2 rooks had to come to the 6th rank to defend this light square pawn. My opponent instead does not play that and blunders the game in 1 move. Bishop f8, and now there is this pawn that we brought up earlier is extremely weak, and it is very simple on how to get this checkmate. Now, as you see, the bishop is just a move away from locking these squares down. The queen locks these square down. Now you cannot recapture with the queen or you cannot block with the queen. If you do that, the knight defends it. So just queen takes, and this is going to be checkmate. Double knight move, double check. Beautiful checkmate there. So my opponent, resilient, tries to play g7. Now it's looking kind of dicey, but knight d3, knight d3 check once again is going to end the game. There are no blocks. The only move is to block with the queen, and now that is checkmate. Queen locks this side, bishop blocks here, and the queen also locks the 6th rank. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today, and I hope you learned a little bit. Do not resign. Keep fighting, and maybe we'll stumble into one of these wins. Who knows? But that's all I got for you guys. I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.